Welcome to the Ramayan, Stories of Dharma and Devotion. I'm Sandeep, and in this podcast, we'll journey together through the timeless epic of Valmiki's Ramayan, filled with stories of honor, sacrifice, devotion, and righteousness. Our narrative isn't limited to Valmiki's original composition. It also draws inspiration from other Indian traditions and folklore. Our aim is to offer you an experience of this timeless tale that not only touches your emotions, but also provides insights into every aspect of life. In today's episode, we explore the incredible transformation of Vishwamitra, who was once a powerful king named Kaushik. His journey from a warrior king to a revered sage is a testament to the power of perseverance and the pursuit of true wisdom.
Sage Vishwamitra, whose name is spoken with reverence and respect, did not begin his life as an ordinary sage, but as a valiant king. He was a ruler whose persona symbolized courage, strength, and self-assurance. The prosperous kingdom of Kanyakubja, now known as Kannauj, flourished under the reign of King Kaushik, a celebrated warrior and an astute administrator. The name Kaushik signifies descendant of Kush, reflecting the glory and greatness of his ancestor King Kaushik. King Kaushik was not just a mighty warrior, but also a visionary ruler. His reign was marked by justice, dharma, and prosperity. His army was invincible, and under his leadership, Kanyakubja's fame spread far and wide across Bharat or India. King Kaushik ensured not only the safety of his kingdom, but also its economic and cultural growth. His subjects lived in happiness, and his governance was rooted in fairness and dharma. The story of Sage Vishwamitra's birth is as unique and fascinating as his journey through life. He was born to Sage Richik and Satyavati, whose union itself was extraordinary. Satyavati, the daughter of King Gadhi, was renowned for her beauty and virtues. When Sage Richik expressed his desire to marry her, King Gadhi set forth a daunting condition. He said, "If you can bring me 1,000 white horses with black ears, I will consent to my daughter's marriage to you." This seemed an impossible task, but Sage Richik, with his intense penance and the blessings of Lord Varun, fulfilled the condition. He presented King Gadhi with 1,000 white horses with black ears. Impressed by Sage Richik's devotion and determination, King Gadhi gave his daughter Satyavati's hand in marriage. After their marriage, Satyavati and her mother Kushika sought blessings from Sage Richik for offspring. To fulfill their wishes, Sage Richik prepared a special offering of milk and rice infused with powerful mantras. For Satyavati, he used the Brahma Mantra, ensuring the birth of a great Brahman son, while for her mother, he prepared an offering with the Kshatriya Mantra, intending to bless her with a mighty warrior son. However, an unexpected turn of events occurred. Satyavati's mother, doubting the process and its results, asked her daughter to exchange their portions. Trusting her mother and being simple-hearted, Satyavati agreed and switched the offerings. When Sage Richik learned of this exchange, he was furious. He said to Satyavati, "This decision by your mother will have grave consequences. Now, instead of a Brahman son, your womb will bear a fierce warrior who will bring bloodshed to this world. Meanwhile, your mother will give birth to a great Brahman son." Distraught by the unintended consequences of her actions, Satyavati pleaded with Sage Richik to alter the outcome. She begged, "O Lord, I do not wish for my son to be the cause of violence and bloodshed. Please change this destiny." Moved by Satyavati's sincere prayers and concern, Sage Richik partially mitigated the result. He said, "Your son will now be a great Brahman, but your grandson will inherit the qualities of a mighty warrior who will symbolize power and bring great upheaval." Thus, Satyavati gave birth to Sage Jamdagni, a renowned ascetic and Brahman known for his wisdom and penance. Jamdagni's son, Parshuram, was born as a warrior. Parshuram, known for his unparalleled valor, mastery of weapons, and adherence to dharma, became the sixth incarnation of Lord Vishnu. His mission was to eliminate adharma and tyranny from the world. Sage Parshuram performed many remarkable deeds in his lifetime, including the destruction of tyrannical Kshatriyas and the re-establishment of Dharma on earth. His story, marked by unparalleled valor and penance, has become immortal in history. We will delve deeper into the saga of Sage Parshuram and his divine deeds in upcoming episodes. His tale is not only thrilling, but also a profound reminder of the importance of dharma and truth. Meanwhile, from the womb of Kushika, the wife of King Gadhi, was born a son who, despite being born into a Kshatriya family, was destined to become a great Brahman. This son was named Kaushik. As the king of Kanyakubja, Kaushik's reign was extraordinary. He elevated his kingdom to the zenith of strength and prosperity. For Kaushik, his might and valor were his identity. He believed that the greatness of a ruler lay in their power and conquests. One day, King Kaushik addressed his ministers and courtiers, saying, "I have heard that the ashram of Sage Vashisth is a place of immense spiritual peace and energy. I must visit it myself to see how such a spiritual institution functions in my kingdom. After all, it is a king's duty to ensure that both the material and spiritual aspects of his kingdom are thriving." His decision was met with approval, and within days, King Kaushik set out with his royal entourage to visit Vashishtha's ashram. As he entered the ashram, he paused in astonishment. Before his eyes was a sight unlike any he had seen. The ashram's simplicity and natural beauty left him awestruck. Tall trees swayed in the gentle breeze, sweet fruits hung from the branches, and crystal-clear streams flowed nearby. The melodious chirping of birds, combined with the chanting of Vedic mantras by Vashishtha's disciples, created an atmosphere of divinity. Kaushik murmured to himself, "Such tranquility, such abundance, without any royal grandeur. How is this even possible?" Sage Vashisth, observing the king's reaction, smiled and said, "O king, all this is the grace of nature and the Supreme Being. Our life is simple, but the Almighty has blessed us with a priceless gift that fulfills all our needs." Curious, King Kaushik asked, "What is this gift, sage?" Pointing to a divine cow nearby, Vashisth replied, "This is our Kamdhenu, a celestial cow that fulfills every desire. She provides food, clothing, and all necessities for the ashram. It is her nature to serve and help everyone who comes here." Kaushik gazed at Kamdhenu in wonder. Her divine form was radiant and enchanting. A thought crept into his mind. If this cow were in my kingdom, my people would never lack anything. The prosperity of my kingdom would multiply manifold. Turning to Vashisth, he said, "Sage, I am willing to give you a great amount of wealth, gems, and treasures in exchange for this divine cow. Please allow me to take her to my kingdom. She will serve my people and enhance their welfare." Vashisth replied calmly, "O king, this cow is not just a creature. She is a divine blessing. She has been bestowed upon this ashram to serve its needs. Taking her away would go against dharma and duty. I cannot part with her, and I seek your understanding." Kaushik, unaccustomed to being denied, felt his pride wounded. His face turned red with anger as he said, "Sage, you do not understand how vital this cow could be for my kingdom. I will take her, no matter what." Vashisth, maintaining his composure, said, "O king, you may attempt to take her by force, but remember, this is no ordinary cow. She is divine, and it is not easy to bind or take her against her will. Only through the path of dharma can she truly be obtained." Kaushik, consumed by his desire, ordered his soldiers, "Go and bring me this cow immediately. If she is not willingly given, we shall take her by force." As the soldiers advanced to seize Kamdhenu, the celestial cow revealed her divine powers. She roared and circled around Sage Vashisth, invoking his spiritual energy. Sage Vashisth, using his immense spiritual strength, created a divine force to repel the army. Every time the soldiers moved forward, Vashishtha's energy pushed them back. Kaushik, who had always taken pride in his might and army, was stunned by what he witnessed. Despite deploying all his strength, his forces were no match for the sage's spiritual power. Without lifting a single weapon, Vashisth had defeated Kaushik's entire army. Filled with frustration and despair, Kaushik admitted, "Sage, I am a powerful king, yet today you have shown me that true strength lies in spirituality and dharma. My entire army and might have been humbled by the power of your penance and righteousness. You have opened my eyes." Sage Vashisth, with a serene smile, said, "O king, true strength lies in serving dharma and others. The arrogance of power leads only to destruction. You have the potential for greatness, but it must be directed toward the right path, for that is the true essence of dharma." This profound lesson became the turning point in King Kaushik's life. His pride and ego were completely shattered by Vashishtha's spiritual power. Deeply introspective, Kaushik thought to himself, "I must attain such strength, the strength that stems from spirituality and dharma. I must embark on a journey of penance and meditation to truly understand this truth." Inspired by Vashishtha's unmatched powers and humbled by his own defeat, Kaushik resolved to give his life a new direction. He renounced his royal luxuries and retreated to the forest to immerse himself in intense penance. His sole aim was to acquire spiritual power and earn the revered status of a rishi. Years of rigorous austerities and unwavering self-discipline gradually bore fruit. Kaushik attained the title of rishi, a significant milestone in his journey. Yet, this accomplishment was not enough for him. Kaushik reflected, "Becoming a rishi is just the beginning. My true goal is to achieve the status of a Brahmarshi, like Sage Vashisth. Until I reach that pinnacle, my penance remains incomplete." Determined, Kaushik intensified his austerities, dedicating his entire existence to meditation, penance, and self-restraint. His resolve and focus became unshakable. Observing Kaushik's growing power, the gods grew concerned. Indra, the king of the Devas, expressed his apprehensions in a celestial assembly, saying, "If Kaushik continues his penance at this intensity, his power will surpass all limits and may even threaten the heavens. We must test his resolve and interrupt his penance." To execute this plan, Indra summoned Menaka, one of the most beautiful apsaras of heaven. "Menaka," Indra said, "it is now your responsibility to disrupt Kaushik's penance. Use your divine beauty and grace to distract him and lead him away from his path." Menaka, understanding the gravity of Indra's command, accepted the task and descended to the forest where Kaushik was immersed in meditation. In the dense, tranquil forest, Menaka began to display her celestial beauty. Her radiant presence illuminated the surroundings, and the serene jungle seemed to come alive with her charm. She started to sing in a melodious voice, her song reverberating through the stillness of the forest. Kaushik, deeply absorbed in his penance, was startled by the enchanting melody. Intrigued, he thought, "What is this sound? It's so captivating. Who could be here in the secluded forest?" Opening his eyes, he saw Menaka before him, her divine beauty dazzling like the morning sun. Awestruck, Kaushik wondered, such unparalleled beauty. "Who is she?" Menaka, with a gentle smile, said, "O great sage, I am an apsara from heaven. Your penance and dedication are the talk of the celestial realms. Hearing of your fame, I decided to visit you." Already enchanted, Kaushik replied, "Your presence here is a blessing. Such beauty can only belong to someone from the heavens." Menaka, using her charm and eloquence, further drew Kaushik into conversation. Slowly but surely, Kaushik found himself drifting away from his meditation, entirely captivated by Menaka's allure. Their union endured for some time, and from this bond, a daughter named Shakuntala was born. Shakuntala would later become the protagonist of a legendary tale. However, as time passed, Kaushik began to realize that he had deviated from his path. Reflecting deeply, he lamented, "I abandoned my penance and my purpose. This is my greatest failure. I must correct this mistake." Filled with remorse, Kaushik bid farewell to Menaka and resolved to resume his penance with greater determination. He made a solemn vow to himself, this time, no distraction, no matter how luring, will deter me from achieving my ultimate goal. His penance became even more profound. Years passed, and his spiritual energy grew manifold. However, the gods decided to test his resolve once again. This time, they sent another celestial Apsara, Rambha, known for her unparalleled beauty and charm. The gods were confident that she would succeed in breaking Kaushik's penance. Rambha arrived at Kaushik's hermitage and began to display her alluring grace and divine beauty. Her melodious humming filled the air, her anklets jingled in rhythm, and her every movement radiated an enchanting charm. But this time, Kaushik was completely alert and cautious. As soon as he saw Rambha, he immediately realized that this was another ploy by the gods. Anger surged within him, and he thought to himself, why do the gods keep trying to disrupt my penance? Do they mock my resolve by testing me again and again? Filled with rage, Kaushik glared at Rambha and said, how dare you attempt to break my penance? This is nothing but another scheme by the gods. But I will not tolerate it anymore. In his anger, Kaushik cursed Rambha. He declared, for your actions, I curse you to turn into stone. You will no longer be able to use your charm to distract anyone. After cursing her, Kaushik's anger began to subside. But as his fury faded, he realized the gravity of his mistake. Reflecting on his actions, he thought, what have I done in my anger? The true essence of spiritual practice is not only overcoming desires, but also mastering anger and ego. This act of mine proves that I have yet to fully control my emotions. Deeply regretful, Kaushik vowed to himself, I must make my penance even more rigorous. I will not stop until I have conquered all my weaknesses. After being cursed by Sage Vishwamitr, Rambha remained in the form of a rock in the hermitage for many years, silently bearing the weight of her punishment. Her presence became an unnoticed part of the hermitage, a testament to the sage's wrath and her own unfortunate fate. Years later, a dedicated disciple of Sage Agastya, known as Sage Sweta, arrived at the hermitage. We will delve deeper into the life of Sage Agastya and his significant role in the Ramayan in the episodes to come. Seeking salvation, Sage Sweta began a rigorous penance in this sanctified space. His devotion and determination imbued the hermitage with a renewed sense of spirituality. However, his peace was soon disrupted by the arrival of a terrifying demoness named Angarka. Known for her cruelty, Angarka unleashed havoc upon the hermitage. Her thunderous voice echoed through the forest, and she defiled the sacred grounds with filth and destruction. Beyond her physical acts, she sought to disturb Sage Sweta's penance, harassing him in countless ways. Sage Sweta, though patient, eventually reached his limit. Harnessing his spiritual energy, Sage Sweta created a powerful missile using a stone that was none other than the one sage Vishwamitra had cursed Rambha into. Infused with divine energy, this celestial missile, presided over by Vayu, the wine god, became a weapon of immense potency. Sage Sweta unleashed the missile, aiming it at the fleeing demoness. Angarka, realizing the power of the missile, fled towards the southern seas. The missile, empowered by divine energy and Rambha's stone form, pursued her relentlessly. In desperation, Angarka dove into the sacred waters of Kapitirtha, seeking refuge. But the missile struck her with unerring precision, the impact of the stone destroying her instantly. As the missile struck and plunged into the waters of Kapitirtha, Rambha's curse was lifted. The divine energy of the sacred waters and the conclusion of her role in the curse freed her from her stone form. Emerging from the waters, Rambha regained her celestial beauty and radiance. Her release was accompanied by the gods' celebration, with flowers showering from the heavens and celestial music filling the air. A divine chariot descended to take Rambha back to Devlok, where she was welcomed with reverence and joy. Meanwhile, with renewed determination, Kaushik immersed himself in an even stricter penance. For years, he meditated and practiced austerities without any interruptions. His penance became so powerful that the entire creation began to feel the impact of his spiritual energy. Even the gods started to fear and acknowledge his growing power. Ultimately, Kaushik's relentless penance and unyielding patience bore fruit. The gods themselves appeared before him and conferred upon him the title of Brahmarshi. This title represented the highest status among sages, equivalent to that of Sage Vashisth. Kaushik, who was once a proud and arrogant king, was now revered as Sage Vishwamitra. Sage Vishwamitra had finally conquered his desires, anger, and ego. His life became a symbol of a transformative journey, showing how patience, penance, and self-discipline can lead one to the pinnacle of greatness. The enmity between Vishwamitra and Vashisth gradually transformed into mutual respect. Vishwamitra, who had once been driven by the desire to prove his superiority, now dedicated his life to the welfare of humanity and guiding others toward the path of dharma. One of the most significant achievements of Sage Vishwamitra's life was the composition of the Gayatri Mantra. This mantra, dedicated to Surya Dev, the sun god, is not just a tool for meditation but a profound means of spiritual elevation. It is considered one of the most sacred and powerful mantras in Hinduism, invoking divine wisdom and dispelling ignorance. The Gayatri Mantra connects the seeker's mind with divine light, bringing spiritual clarity and enlightenment. Vishwamitra's creation of the mantra stemmed from his realization that true greatness lies not in personal spiritual accomplishments, but in uplifting others. He wanted to create something accessible to all, enabling people to connect with divinity and progress spiritually. The Gayatri Mantra became a priceless gift to humanity, offering a pathway to inner peace and growth. Vishwamitra's contribution demonstrated that a true sage is one who uses their knowledge and power for the betterment of society. In Ayodhya, King Dashrath, known for his dedication to dharma and the welfare of his people, shared a close bond with Sage Vishwamitra. Their relationship was built on mutual respect and trust. King Dashrath deeply revered the sages and often sought their guidance. Vishwamitra, in turn, admired Dashrath's just rule and his devotion to his people. Vishwamitra understood Dashrath was a king who always upheld his promises and extended help to those in need. The trust between Sage Vishwamitra and King Dashrath became evident when the sage approached the king's court to seek his assistance in protecting his yagan. This moment marked a significant turning point not only in the life of Ram, but also in the protection of dharma in the world. It was the beginning of a journey where Ram, more than just a prince, emerged as the guardian of dharma.
In our next episode, we will see Vishwamitra arrive at King Dashrath's court, seeking Ram's help to protect his sacred yagan. This marks the beginning of Ram's journey into the forest, where he will face his first major challenge against the demon Tatka. Join us as we explore how Ram and Lakshman embark on their path of heroism under the guidance of Sage Vishwamitra. Thank you for listening to this podcast. Please share the podcast with friends and family so that we can spread the glorious life of Ram and how dharma guides us at all phases of our life. While we may not know exactly what happened, this eternal story of the Ramayan serves as a guide for how we conduct ourselves in our day-to-day lives. We have tried to create a story as close as possible to the ancient texts, scriptures, and writings of Valmiki's Ramayan. Until then, may the light of dharma guide your path.